morning, all my brothers. And only two sisters are appearing. Though we are fighting 50% reservations for the women, in which then in proportionate reservations for the backward classes also, within the 50%. Therefore, I request next time to bring our better offs also and enlighten them, educate them, ignite them, make aware about the social justice. Today's presidential address, Honorable Justice Sri K. Sukumaran, who has addressed and left, just now left, and my teacher, guru, like mentor, Professor Dr. Mohan Gopal, Vice Chancellor of the National Law School of India, University, Bangalore, and the Director, National Judicial Academy, because he has trained almost all the judges of India. He has taught all the judges of India. When I was a judge, young judge, also went for the training, judicial training, to the Bhopal, where he has just for a brief, he has stated about the Indian history, why India has become poor, why we have lost our glory, health, wealth, happiness, because of the selfish nature of our own kings and our own human beings. And that is the reason why for the degradation of the Indian people. Therefore, the most important thing is to protect the social justice, the unity. The unity is not there, we can't achieve anything. The dignitaries on the dais, the Sri Somprasad, maybe MP, is coming, and all other dignitaries, and the friends on the dais, I especially congratulate and admire Mr. V.R. Joshi, coordinator, to convene this kind of the intellectuals meeting about the 10% reservations provided constitutionally to the economically weaker sections of the advanced classes, of the elite people who are enjoying the more than their representation in all three wings of the state, judiciary, executive and legislature, employment, education, wealth, all fields of the life. Now the time has come for them. Maybe they are jealous and they won't like to have our minimum due share as against the 27% reservations provided for the socially and educationally backward classes. That too from 1993 even till today, that reservations have not been achieved up to 12%. Even the 12% reservations enjoyed by the backward classes also has become eyesore for these ruling class, the advanced classes, the elite people. And you see the amendment that has been made, economically weaker sections. It is now nowhere in the Constitution it has been defined. And all the papers publishes in the papers, the poor among the general classes. A person who earns 8 lakhs rupees pays the tax over and above the 2 lakhs annual income. He is called a poor person, and he is economically weaker section. And a person who is having 5 acres of the land, maybe in a prime area of the Kerala or nearby Delhi or Hyderabad, is economically weaker section. How many people are having annual income of 8 lakhs and 5 acres of the fertile land or 1,000 square feet in the urban areas? You give this much of the wealth to all SCs, STs, OBCs and tribals, and you make them rich, and you are not tolerating because of the division of the agriculture land, because of maybe the employment is coming down in the government, the organizations, and you make them occupy all these fields by the upper classes also. Now, therefore, today I will concentrate on 10%, whether it is constitutionally valid or how it is against the basic structure of the Constitution, basic features of the Constitution, against the equality, against the social justice, and contrary to the judgments of the Supreme Court. So these things I will concentrate. The bill that has been, cabinet has been passed and introduced before the parliament was the bill of, that is 124, the amendment bill 2019, and they say they are going to add clause 6 after clause, in article 15, 15.5, 15 after 4.5, and clause 6 in article 16. And the reasons and objects they say is article 46 provides, ensures economically weaker sections of the citizens to get fair chance of receiving higher educational and participation in the employment in service of the state. It has been decided to amend. This is a misreading of article 46. I will read article 46, what article 46 says, and how this parliament, the so-called elite people, this law minister, Arun Jaitley, and all these persons who are having heads, and this how they are going to misguide the entire nation, stating that there is a direct principle under article 46 to enable to make a law on these grounds. I will read now article 46. Article 46 says, Article 46 says, promotion of educational and economic interest of the scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and other weaker sections. Who is the weaker sections? Then let us examine. The state shall promote with special care the educational and economic interest of the weaker sections of the people, and in particular the scheduled castes, scheduled tribes, and shall protect them from the social injustice. Who is facing the social injustice? These advanced communities are causing social injustice. Only SCs and STs and OBCs. OBCs means socially and educationally backward classes are facing the social injustice and all forms of exploitation. They are being exploited. Who is being exploited? And how can they? Is in consonance with Article 14 and 15 and 16. Therefore, only the SCs and STs are faced this kind of the social injustice, and they have been exploited. For them, what they can do it? They can promote the educational and economic interest of the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, not reservations in the education and employment. They can advance. They can only they can see that a good educational institutions can be brought up to get education for all, and the economic interest. Even now they are getting economic interest of the poor are being provided, irrespective of the caste, community, religion, race. Whoever is poor, and they are being considered for the outsides, and they are being considered for the loans. They are being considered for the any economical interest. Therefore, these kinds of social and economic welfare measures are being taken for all economic weaker sections. But this kind of reservations are not contemplated under Article 46, by they say in the statement of objects and reasons in the amendment bill. Now we will go to our constitution says this is in the democratic, secular democratic republic. This is a constitution. Sovereign power vests with the people. Sovereign power vests with the people. The constitution is for the people, by the people, and for the welfare of the people. Therefore, constitution says to secure all citizens the justice, political justice, economic justice, and social justice. So all citizens, social justice means what? Social justice means we are socially discriminated. Then liberty, equality, fraternity. Then equality under Article 14, equality before law means nobody should deny any person equality before law. Equals, treating the unequals with the equals is perpetuating the inequality. Therefore, you can't treat the poor on par with the rich, uneducated on par with educated, socially backward on par with the socially advanced. What kind of the social backwardness they have faced? Then we will read. Then our profession has very correctly it has become very, Article 15 and 16. You read Article 15. The state shall not discriminate against any citizen on the ground of any religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth, or any of them. No citizen shall, on the ground of the race, caste, place of birth, subject to any disability, liability, restriction, or conditions within the regard. So what kind of the, but this is, nobody should be the discriminated. But nobody discriminated. That it's now how the backward classes have been discriminated. If you see the Indian history, if you see the Indian in Kerala, what kind of the untouchability there, when Narayan Guru has established this kind of the movement, social justice movement, is a great pioneer of the Indian the social justice movement. When he saw about the discrimination of the other backward classes, not to walk before the houses of the Nambudi Dar Brahmins, and the women were not allowed to go to the school, and the women was not allowed to wear the jackets, and even this, all all of you know much better than me about this thing. Therefore, these are the kinds of the social injustice caused. The use of the well. So separate wells were there for the forward classes and backward classes. Tanks, separate tanks, bathing ghats, roads and places of the public resorts maintained. So there was a right of the restriction to enjoy on par with the advanced classes. That is the reason why there shall not be any discrimination. But to remove the discrimination, to achieve the equality, there can be reservations to the socially, educationally backward classes. Article 16.4 says, the nothing in these articles prevents the state from making any provision for the reservation appointment of posts in favor of any backward class. Only word used in Article 16.4 is backward class. Backward class means scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, and socially educational backward classes. So backward classes are defined in Article 341 and ready with definition 366(21), and scheduled tribes are defined in Article 342 and the definitions. Backward classes also are defined in Article 340. The other backward classes. Who are there? Socially, educationally backward classes. That is the reason why, though the Constitution, before the formation of the Constitution, scheduled castes, scheduled tribes have been identified. They have been added in the Constitution in the Constitution, in the schedule, but backward classes have been not identified. That is the reason why Article 340 is there in the Constitution. To recognize who are the backward classes, the National Commission was contemplated. First commission was Kaka-Kalelkar Commission, which has submitted its report 1953 or 54, 55 submitted. Then Mandal Commission was appointed in 1978, submitted report in 1980. 10 years nobody has considered, and in 1990, when Mandal only recognized the social educational backward classes, having 21 some class criteria about the social, about the economic, about the employment, about the education, and about these untouchability, then the type of the occupation. Therefore, he has identified, he has taken the caste as a beginning, and then other factors he has taken into consideration, identified the backward classes. Then that backward classes, the recommendations were sought to be implemented. What recommendations Mandal has submitted? One is, though the backward classes are entitled reservations in proportion to their population, but for the reasons that the existing judgments of the Supreme Court not to cross the higher cap of 50%, he has limited 27% reservations in the education, employment, and he has not only recommended reservations in the post and services, and also reservations in the education, private sector, and these equal education for the development of equal education and economic and other welfare measures, but Government of India did not consider, only considered to provide 27% reservations in the employment. Without providing reservations in the education, they thought of implementing only educational employment reservations, thinking fully well that there are no educated people, anyway these people are not available, let us provide only reservations in the employment. In education, reservations are, when Arjun Singh was there, then 15.4 was, then 15.5 was added, and reservations are being implemented from 2007 onwards only, in the education, 2007 only. Therefore, as a result of which today, reservations are not even achieved 12% as on today. But even that has become eyesore for the ruling class. We are SCs, STs and social educational backward classes constitute 80% of the population. Then last census were only up to 1931. Then after 1931, the caste census of scheduled castes, scheduled tribes and the other religious caste census were only collected, but caste census for all castes were not collected. Therefore, there was a demand in the parliament to collect the caste census. Then they have decided to collect the caste census, that is 2011. 2011 caste census have been collected by spending more than 200 crores, which have been completed by 2014, but still those caste census have not been published. Why they are not published? Because they should not know the reality of the facts of the about the employment, about the education, about the wealth, about the political, about the culture, about all these things. If they reveal this 80% of the wealth of the Indian in the post occupied by them, in everywhere, it's only occupied by 20% of these advanced classes. But 80% of the people, their wealth with the 80% of the people is only 20%. This is a fact. Because therefore, the press in their hands, media in their hands, education in their domain, health in their domain, politicals in their domain. If you see today, in union cabinet, no backward classes union cabinet minister. There is no single backward classes. No secretary of the backward classes. Now you provide reservations for the SCs, STs, then up to professor level. But backward classes are concerned, you don't provide reservations, associate professor and professor. And therefore, the other day, in Indian Express or somewhere, the facts have been published. What is the representation of the backward classes in the higher education? And why it's not being achieved? Then now suddenly you wanted to give the reservations to the socially backward, socially weaker sections. When the socially backward classes, then VP Singh government, then Mr. Narasimha Rao government issued a memorandum on 25/9/1991. VP Singh issued a memorandum only providing 27% reservations in employment for the OBCs. Then VP Singh stepped down. Then Narasimha Rao came into power in 1991. Apart from 27% reservations for the OBCs, he has also provided 10% reservations to economically backward classes. That economically backward classes and these 27% reservations has been questioned in the Supreme Court in Indrasani versus Union of India. And Indrasani versus Union of India, clearly in specific terms, it is stated that these socially backward classes people, no reservations can be provided under Article 15.1 or 16.1. You can't create a class on the ground that because their economic position has become weak and their land is meager and their wealth is meager, you cannot provide reservations on the economical factors. At the para 845 of the Indrasani versus Union of India, there is a specific para. It's clearly stated that on the ground of the land, plot, economy, you can't provide. Then Indrasani also stated, not only on the basis of the caste you can recognize, But you can also recognize the real social backwardnesses, because the backwardness comes depending upon the occupation he is carrying on. How we have become backward classes? Ages together we have involved in the particular profession as a tapper, as a weaver, porter, washerman, fisherman, barber or lohar. Therefore, we could not get our children educated, and we can't get the employment, and we can't socially advance. Therefore, we have socially, educationally become backward, and our economic conditions are not on par with, and we have no sufficient education, and therefore reservations are contemplated. That is what is the purpose of Constitution. Constitution is an equalitarian constitution. Everybody will respect. What kind of the respect we backward classes have, what kind of the psychic they have, is a backward classes, is a neediga, is a lohar, is a tapper. So what is that? Even though we are rich, we are doing employment, but in psychologically we are looked down, and we have been with kind of the insulting, with the kind of insulting sight they look at us. Therefore, to create an equalitarian society, that a respectable society, a society in which everybody is respected, everybody is treated on par with, as a brotherhood, as a one fraternity. These reservations are provided, and affirmative policy is provided, but this affirmative policy, now they would like to even take away, 2 years back, when the BJP came into power, and there was a plan as a Nagpur centrally, they have thought of that we should then revise this reservation policy. It should Samiksha Karna means we should rethink the basis for the reservations. Then there was a hue and cry all over India, and they have taken back that move. Now all of a sudden, in the last session of the budget, today it came to their mind that we should provide the reservations to the economically weaker sections, and all of a sudden cabinet passes a resolution to introduce the bill. Next day on 8th, they introduced the bill without giving any time or any chance to think by other parties, and other parties also fell into the fray, into the plot, into the evil design of the BJP party, and unfortunately everybody was kept quiet as the constitution was being raped, like a Draupadi was made to the clothless in the full Sabha. The same thing is happened in the parliament, and except the Muslim League, AIDMK, DMK, and RJD, and AAP, everybody supports this bill. Maybe they are not aware that our BC people will enlighten one day, and it hurts their sentiment, it hurts the social justice. They never visualized, but now these parties are awakening and realizing and repenting, and would like to support our movement like our leaders now. Though because all parties are dominated and headed by the forward class people. Backward class people are not parties do not belong to the backward class people. They make use of the backward class people. They enjoy, but our backward class MPs, MLAs have no independent liberty, independence of the consciousness to ventilate their views in the parliament, because they cannot go against the party system. That is an unfortunate situation. Therefore, the time has come now. Now, Kansiram also created such a movement, but unfortunately, that has been a very unfortunate thing. Mayawati supports this bill, Akhilesh supports this bill, except the poor Lalu and his party only against this bill. Therefore, we admire that fellow, and we appreciate that fellow, whoever has not supported. So, we had a meeting at the Delhi. On the day on which the bill has been passed, I have reacted. Then, when the cabinet approved on the evening the same day, I was reacted. I know, but what is the repercussions of it? When the bill has been passed, then I said, then even Rajya Sabha also will pass the bill, because they are headless, mindless. These persons who doesn't have any consciousness, who doesn't have any respect for the constitution, who doesn't have respect for the social justice and the basic structure, they will all pass. It has been passed like this. Therefore, this movement, we are building this momentum now. This momentum now, then we all of you know, when I retired as an acting Chief Justice, then I don't know why God has only given that post as a Chairman National Commission for Backward Classes by this Congress government, without knowing fully well that I am not amenable to anything, any pressure or any lures or any temptations or anything. But they have mistakenly appointed me. Then slowly they have started asking to do a favor so that they will give anything I want, even Rajya Sabha member also. Then I do include the Jats in the central OBC list. When the Jats, Chidambaram, then Chidambaram and Huda, then Muhammad Patel, and these many leaders were requesting me, and with folded hands, sir, our government, we are not asking any personal favor, because we don't add the Jats, Delhi will be closed. Our transport, milk, vegetables, everybody is dominated by the Jats. Therefore, it will be undeclared curfew. We can't face this. We can do a war, but not these Jats in the Delhi. You have to include it. By the help of the God, maybe the well-wisher of all the backward classes, I was able to reject by a strong advice the Jats. And when I have rejected, these BJP people which are going to be just up these elections, they have appreciated at that time. Then Congress people thought that he is an RSS person, he is a BJP person, he has ditched and he has duped and mercilessly rejected our request. That was the accusation they made me. I felt happy, all right. Then BJP came into power, then all North India people voted in favor of the BJP. Then BJP also wanted to, because my advice was rejected by the government of India, Jats were added in the central OBC list. The national elections were postponed for 1 week, because at the last day for waiting for this thing. Then that was only advice. The government of India disagreed, and they have added the Jats in the central OBC list. And that government of 9 states in the central OBC list, they were added. But fortunately, the Supreme Court of India set aside the government of India decision, upheld my decision, stating that they are not they are socially, educationally not backward. It's a dominant community. It's an organizing community. In every time, the Chief Minister in Haryana and maybe even so Western UP are very dominant people. Therefore, they doesn't deserve to be included. That is the reason why our OBC people who have voted for the BJP, and these are not, I will tell other story also. Then BJP thought that BJP also wanted the Jats to continue in the central OBC list. They wanted me to support in the Supreme Court and take a meek view. I said, I stood my advice. I will support my advice only. So Supreme Court then set aside, that is Ram Singh versus Union of India. After the Indrasani versus Union of India, that is an historic judgment of Ram Singh versus Union of India. Last para, 2 paras only. I was able to distinguish 9 states, the state backward class reports and the government advices, and I was able to distinguish and reject the Jats to be included in the central OBC list. Then thereafter, my term was over. I have submitted the recommendations are the National Commission for Backward Classes shall be given constitutional status. I met Prime Minister of India personally. Then socially educational backward classes, then SCs and STs also should be provided reservations in the private sector, because employees are diminishing in the government sector. All employment in the private sector only. Government gives the land concessions and loans and everything. Therefore, we are entitled some reservations. No action has been taken. Then I have also stated that the socio-economic caste census of 2011 have to be published, and there should be categorization within the OBC in proportion to their population out of these reservations, so that the downtrodden people also get their share. For this also, our backward classes people have opposed, stating that you wanted to divide the backward classes. Even Sharad Yadav ji showed, क्या जेठ साहब अपने बीसी को तोड़ते क्या? मैं नहीं तोड़ता, मैं जोड़ता हूँ. I would like to make them to unite, not the divide, because we are human beings. The most backward classes also should be given their due share. 50% of the denotified tribes, wandering classes, begging classes, then semi-nomadic, nomadic tribes are in the backward class list. What right they are enjoying today? And their position is worse than the SCs and STs. And therefore, they should be given their whatever percentage they have, give the equal proportion to their. That's how categorization has to be made scientifically. Then I have given that advice. Then I have advised also, stating that the reservations are not there for the associate professor and professor, and that should also be given. And I have also stated the university, whole university should be taken as one unit, not department-wise. And then I stated that all the problems, the reason for all the problems is education. When independent we got, maybe we are not in a position to have a quality education, a equal education for all. What happened now? Now our wealth has been, our income has been increased enormously. Why can't we have the same quality education for all? Why don't you nationalize the school education just like a United States and America and European countries? Everybody, whether a minister or a coolie or everybody goes to the same society school with high standard. What happened in this? You are fortunate Kerala people, you have got good education. But if you go to North India and Middle India, the education in the government sector is very poor. No faculty, no facilities, nothing. That is the reason the dropouts. That is the reason why they are not able to compete. Therefore, education should be nationalized, and education in the private sector should be prohibited, should be banned. Then our people will shine like anything. And Kerala, why have Kerala these developed? Because of Narayan Guru, because of the education institutions, and you have been able to develop and go to world, entire anywhere in the world, you are shining, you are glittering. Therefore, education is the more important. And health also. Primary health also should be nationalized. What kind of the primary health facilities we are getting at the remote areas, agency areas, and this health also they doesn't take care of. And government hospitals is neglected. Therefore, now it's you have the data. Any act that is going to be passed, there will be a survey, there should be pro and cons, they will think and they will pass if there are remedies are there. Without seeing anything, all of a sudden, you introduce a socially, economically class. Where does it come? Where does it fit? Now, definition is there for scheduled caste, scheduled tribes and the OBCs. Where is the definition? No definition. How does it fit under Article 15 or 16 or 14 or basic structure? You said Parliament can amend the Constitution, but they cannot destroy its foundation, its basic features and its basic structure. That is Keshavananda Bharati case. Even in the Indrasa University Union of India. But you don't respect, as our elder Professor Mohan Gopal says, it's a constitutional discrimination. It's a constitutional, what words I have to use, I don't know, but his good self will make use of analyze excellently. But this is an atrocious. This is no respect for the social justice. Therefore, this is many people were asking, the poor among the advanced classes, only 10% is given. What is the heartburning for you? 8 lakhs people, 8 lakhs this income, 5 acres land, 1,000 square feet, can he call a poor? How many of the backward classes are having that much of income? And you are treating the economically weaker sections and socially backward on par with. And over a period, you would like to finish the reservations based on the backward, on the social backwardness, and you would like to introduce this only economic backwardness, so that they will occupy all posts. Again, it will come before independence. Our position they would like to make pushback the same position which we were there before the independence, and occupy all the three wings of the state and rule this country. Therefore, my dear friends, my dear brothers and sisters, this is the time we should awaken, we should enlighten, we should take to the grassroots level, we should educate the people. That is the reason why after my retirement as a National Commission for Backward Classes, I am a spiritual man basically. Professor Mohan Gopal knows. Many similar qualities are there. He also that purity of thought, purity of mind, purity of speech, purity of food, purity of money. I also follow same thing. I don't have all these things. But still, God does the social justice. God wants well-being of every being. Therefore, I being the spiritual man, if I don't do the social justice, if I don't take up this issue to the people, then that is not a spirituality at all. Though I was not inclined to lead this kind of the movement, maybe a year back, then there was a meeting, then some 12 states came together at Delhi. They have requested, sir, we should work together, we should head this All India Backward Class Federation. All India Backward Class Federation means SCs, STs, backward classes should work as an organization like RSS. RSS, All India Backward Class Federation, will work in several walks of life. But out of its work, a political party should emerge, and that political party also should be headed by the selfless and by very think tank people. And whoever he would like to contest, just like people gets trained in the RSS and goes to the BJP, that's how people who are in the All India Backward Federation, and they will go to the field and they will contest so that all our people will support them. So that is my vision. We have to work in various other various fields and various sectors. That is the reason why I didn't know that Professor Mohan Gopal belongs to the backward class. When I received the phone from the Joshi, he is a backward class. Yes, sir, he is a backward class. He is very committed social justice worker. This thing. Then I felt so much of happy. So if the Mohan Gopal comes as a pioneer and if he leads the All India Backward Class movement, I will be very thankful to you, sir. We were waiting. Entire nation is waiting for you, because if you come, judges will come. Even forward among the advanced communities also will support our movement. Nobody will like this kind of the denting the constitution is concerned. Therefore, our Joshi is a coordinator of the National Commission for All India Backward Class Federation insofar the Kerala state is concerned. Therefore, Joshi is a coordinator, not only the coordinator among all the caste communities here, but he is also coordinator of All India Backward Class Federation for the Kerala state is concerned. That we have decided that in everybody there is a place to work here. Therefore, I request all of you, come together, have your own independent organizations, associations, sangams, then you protect that. You also take forward. But a time comes, let us all come together and work one umbrella, then only our existence will be felt by all others, and because unity is power. If we are united together, we can achieve anything. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you one and all. Namaskar.